From Anshe Sfard Beth El Emeth Congregation, it's time to take 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of Parashat Behar-Bechukotai and the idea of redemption of land. In our Parsha, after it speaks about the idea that every 50 years the land goes back to its original owner, each person getting his property back from its officially apportioned tribal lands, the Torah then says as follows: if your brother becomes downtrodden, poor, impoverished, and he has to sell his ancestral land, the rabbis say you should only sell part of it, never all. Try not to sell the whole thing. Try to leave something for yourself to make a living. And then eventually, maybe your relative. What does this mean, you're a redeemer? What is the concept of a redeemer of land? And he redeems that which his brother had sold. But and what if there's a man who is not able to find relatives to buy him out, to buy that property back for him? Perhaps he could find his own money with which to redeem the property. And the Torah then discusses the situation until finally he's able to, by hook or by crook, when it comes Jubilee year, he gets his property back. This notion of the redemption of land may indeed be what the Torah is discussing in the book of Ruth, which we'll read, God willing, on Shavuot. In the book of Ruth, when Naomi finds out that Ruth has met this fellow named Boaz, she says, "That's wonderful, that's terrific that you met Boaz, because mi go'alenu hu, he is among our redeemers." What does it mean that he's among our redeemers? What does that mean? One of the commentators, Rabbi Shmuel Daviza, a Spanish commentator, he says that what it means is that she recognized immediately that through this Boaz, eventually the redemption will come, that the son of David, David's descendant, the Mashiach, will come from this Boaz and this relationship that Ruth will have with Boaz. But that's the midrashic interpretation. What does it mean in its simple sense? Later on, we find that actually this redemption, this geula takes place, and they go to this Ploni Almoni, they go to this person whose name is not mentioned, and they say, they call him a redeemer, a goel. Look, we have this plot of land which belonged to Elimelech. Naomi had sold it, and now you have to buy that field. Now, if you can't buy it, you have to tell me. And he says, by the way, when you buy this field, you also get Ruth comes with this field as well. And the redeemer, this anonymous person, he says, Lo chali goli, I cannot redeem. It'll ruin my business. It'll ruin my lands. Perhaps the two lands were not near each other, not able to administer both lands at the same time. So he says, you go ahead, you do the redemption. And this is the way it used to work in those days. They used to exchange a shoe. Shoe? Why are they exchanging shoes? What's going on? And so he takes off his shoe, and Boaz says, you are indeed witnesses, everyone, that I have purchased all of that which belongs to Elimelech by the exchange of the shoe. That shows that Elimelech is going to Boaz will acquire everything that belonged to Elimelech and not this anonymous redeemer. And also with that comes the land of Ruth as well, and he will marry Ruth. So the question is, what is going on there in this book of Ruth? What are they doing? There are three possibilities. On the one hand, there's a notion of chalipin, that through the exchange of the shoe, they officially exchange the rights for that property. That's one possibility. There's also an allusion to some sort of a chalitza, as Josephus says. Perhaps he rejected the marrying Ruth, and in some sense, there's a form of chalitza, of rejection of the Levirate woman. And then, perhaps most appropriately, we can understand the story of Ruth based on our parsha, that you're supposed to redeem the land of your fellow, and if you fail to redeem it, it's an embarrassment. But then, why does the land come with the person? why is the fact that he's supposed to marry Ruth, what does it have to do with getting this land? The Gemara in Yevamot, in Chaf Daled and 24, and also Rashi on Yud Zayin Amud Bet, Rashi clarifies that Hagoel, that the person who redeems the field, who marries the Levirate woman, who marries the woman who has no children from her previous husband, that she gets the land he gets the land as well. He inherits the land of the deceased brother, so that when Boaz marries Ruth, he is performing a Levirate marriage of sorts. As such, he gets the land. He's responsible for the land of Boaz, and together with that, he gets Ruth as well. The two ideas go together. What is the concept of this redeeming your brother's land, marrying the deceased brother's wife, in this case, the deceased relative's wife? What's going on? Here we need to refer to something we've referred to in other webcasts, particularly on Parashat Akev, the idea that everyone in the world, every Jewish person, has a piece, a portion in the land of Israel. There are 12 parts of Israel. There are 12 tribes of Israel. There's millions of little portions of Israel, and there are millions of Jews to take and inherit each one of those little pieces of Israel. And everything's not in its proper place till every Jew is in his proper place. If there's poverty or death, you lose that piece of land that was supposed to be yours. Through the Yibum, the Levirate marriage, through this process of redemption of your brother's land, you bring it back. You bring the person back to his ancestral land. The Gemara in Yevamos says that Ben David Ba, the Mashiach will not come until every person is able to exist, till every expression of the human potential and possibility exists in this world. The Mashiach, redemption, will not come. If a person died and failed to express his unique expression on his unique piece of land and have his unique child, then we need to bring a redemption to that. We need to try to make sure that that soul is not lost, that land is not lost. And therefore, the one who buys the land back, the one who marries the widow of the man who had no sons, is ultimately bringing redemption to the world. He's helping every person find their expression. Even the one who died, even the one who was impoverished and lost his land, even they will find their unique expression. Until the land of Elimelech, that's Naomi's husband, till that land is redeemed, there can be no redemption. Until a Jew similar to Elimelech sits back on that land again, his own ancestral land, then there's something missing in the world. That unique expression of that child of Elimelech that never was. Until that expression is fully fleshed out in the person of the child which Naomi and Boaz, of Ruth and Boaz will have. Till then, Mashiach can't come. The world can't be redeemed because there's one person whose unique soul and unique expression on this world has not yet been expressed. The idea of the redemption of land is an idea that every person has a unique contribution to make in their unique place in the land of Israel, so to speak, in this world. If someone dies, someone is impoverished and can't fulfill their ultimate mission, it's our job to be the redeemer. And by redeeming that person, and by helping that lost soul express their unique mission, we bring redemption to the world. When everyone will find their place, when no soul will go unnoticed, when no life will go unfulfilled, and then it will truly be the Goel, that will be the Geulah, the redeemers, not just redeemers of land, redeemers of some woman, but rather this will bring redemption to the whole world. As the Gemara says, when every person's soul finds its expression, that's the day when the true redemption will come. The Ben David, the son of David, son of Boaz, Naomi, and Elimelech, will come and redeem every soul and find a place for every Jew in the land of Israel, and everyone in the world will know that they too have a portion in the God of Israel, in the land of Israel. Thanks for joining us here at the Anshe Sfard Beth El congregation here in Memphis, Tennessee. Thanks to Jason Lefkowitz for making today's presentation possible. Join us again for our webcasts each week. You can email me at rabbijmf@gmail.com. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.